All right, here we are back again, part 2 of our rainy day. So wanted to kind of highlight the weather itself. You can see from the screens it's raining. You can see from the wipers. Hopefully you can see from the water rolling down the Model X window or rolling up, however you want to see it, that this is real rain. So in our previous video, I kind of highlighted some things we'll talk about in a bit. Coming up, this is our first roundabout, so let's see how this is handled. This is a two-way roundabout, of course, yielding, and we're off, turning on our turn signal, which we talked about that in the past several times. That turn signal comes on because other places mandate it for roundabouts, so not a problem. But yeah, we've been out here on the road seeing how FSD navigates this rain. And what we've learned so far with the rain is that slick roads, at least from a Hardware 3 standpoint, do affect or can affect the trip or the way we turn. There was some slippage. There was some jerkiness of some of our left turns in the previous video. So just something again to make note as we go through. Okay, so we're coming up on, it's a tricky sign. It says road closed, but then there's this path here. Excellent, we go through that without any issues. That's a tricky, that's a tricky one. But FSD handled that nonetheless. Approaching a stop sign here. So we're gonna make our first left and we'll see how that's handled. And we're making it in onto an uneven gravel-like road. So complete stop into this back road type, and we did good. There was no slippage, no jerkiness on that turn, so that was a good job there. One thing to note is we want to be mindful of our speed, because again, I'm not sure how well Hardware 3 vehicles recognize when it's raining and to adjust for speed. I know in the past it's been hit or miss. We're also approaching a railroad sign, so I'm gonna just let it go, but typically you'd want to see it pull back, which it is. Okay, so it did a little bit, so that's good. That's an improvement. It was not pulling back on railroad crossings, especially the elevated railroad crossings in previous builds. So excuse me, I haven't had a chance to check that out to see, but it definitely did. And the other situation I'd run into when it comes to those railroad passings is that several cars would be in front of me, so we didn't have a good barometer to say, hey, does it slow down? But as we can see, it did in fact slow down, so that was a good nugget. That was a good surprise to see from FSD. Okay, we're approaching stop sign here. We have an overpass. Uh-oh, so that wasn't good. I'm not sure what it was trying to do. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that was funny. So let's see. We'll give it a little bit so we can get going and engage again. So, and hopefully, maybe you can see, maybe not. There's a very large puddle of water that was just sitting in the middle of the road. So something to note when it comes to that. There's definitely no lines, and I don't know how it interpreted that large body of water. Whether it's like, hey, is this a dirt mound, or is this, is there a hidden curb under there? So that was very interesting. One of the main reasons why I still get out every single day to video, to record and share my feedback. I should have reported that. I just completely forgot. But haven't had one of those in a minute. So we hit that puddle and it said take over immediately, which makes perfect sense, right? So it'll be interesting to see if that's a recurrence. And that's pretty hard to test if you're not in the rain. But something we'll note. And then two, for anyone that has a hardware 4 vehicle that's encountered that, has that happened to you before? I'll be curious to know. But fortunately, we weren't in a crazy area where I couldn't take over. I had to aggressively take over. I just kind of let it do its thing. I would have let it ride out because it looked like it was attempting to make a right turn, which was off the path that we have, off the route. But I still would have let it figure itself out. But it literally told me to take over. So something to note for sure. Now we're coming up to the stop sign. Don't see any other puddles, but we'll see. Changing lanes a bit. There is sort of a back road. There is sort of a back road. I don't know if I can still take that now. For testing purposes. I don't know if it'll let us do that. We'll see. But that's also one that I probably wouldn't take at this point because it's definitely a flood area on that back road, and I think we've proven that we're not capable of that just yet. Which again, I don't mind from a supervised standpoint, but again, if we're talking about unsupervised, we're talking about robo-taxis that have no steering wheels, and not even focused on Tesla per se, but Waymo, whoever else. If you run into a situation like that, there's going to have to be some intervention, right? And how long does that intervention take? I know Waymo has, folks that are working in satellite offices that can identify if a vehicle is stuck and manually take over. I'm sure Tesla has a similar approach in those emergency type situations. And it's just, it's something to note for sure. So overall, the rain's been consistent, that's for sure. Vehicles coming out, decided to turn. So on top of the rain itself, it is windy too. So that's also a factor. I don't know if folks that have lived in more windy areas have noticed. If you are utilizing FSD, at times the steering wheel will kind of fight to gain position, which is normal. That's something that we would do as human drivers as well. But it's just always interesting to see how FSD reacts to unplanned conditions, but also weather conditions in general. Okay, so we're making this lane change, and as we all know, water can build up right near on the right lanes near curbs, so I can definitely visually see water buildup, and that's something that we'll have to take into account and see how we react to that. A couple water patches here. Okay, making this right turn. Little jerky, but not too bad. And then we're coming right into this left lane. Now we're coming into this left lane, but we have another path set up to make a right turn. So just right on cue, it does that. And one commenter actually posted on another vehicle saying, hey, why does it always go to the left of any multiple lanes? If you have 2 lanes, it's going to take the left lane. If you have 3 or 4 lanes, it's going to take that far left lane, which is typically called the fast lane. And I attribute it to me being in hurry mode, that it's always going to take the quickest route to get to where we need to go. Now, again, I can't speak for standard or chill, but I'd be interested to hear from anyone that used those modes to know if your vehicle is also going and choosing the most left lane and navigating highway or city streets. Because as you saw, we came to a stop, made that initial right turn, and it automatically went to the left lane, knowing that pretty soon we'd have to get back into that right lane to make this right turn onto this road. So interesting to know everyone's feedback on that. But all in all, this was an eventful trip, to say the least. I think we have some good feedback, some things to make note of, and hopefully for folks that are utilizing FSD, especially in the rain, let me know if anything that's happened today has happened to you, and we'll go from there. That's it, y'all. So thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe as always, and we'll catch you on the next one.